In today's video, brought to you by Maven Asset Management, let's continue to explore Maximo Mobile and its new feature of a preloaded database. This was introduced in 2022 in the 8.8 release, and it provides significant benefits. Those benefits are related to performance and an improved onboarding experience for new users. So let's break this video down into two segments. First, we'll explore the setup features that we have to take in Maximo Classic or Maximo Core to create this preloaded database. And then in the second part, let's take a look at what that database even is. So to start, when we have to create this database, we're over here on the far left-hand side. There's 3 steps that we have to go through. First, we can use an existing Maximo user that we have or create a new user, but it's very important that they have a default insert site set up. We're going to assign that user as the owner of a new person group. And then the third thing we're going to do is enable the Maximo Mobile cron task using the owner or this initial user of that person group. By doing this, it's going to create this Maximo Mobile database, right, which is then loaded as the person loads the Maximo Mobile on their phone or on their tablet. And you can see a quick screenshot of how this is enabled over here. And you can see that the data is quickly loading. And this is going to enable the user to then have Maximo Mobile populated not only with the records, but the lookups, the attachments, etc. Anything that that user has access to. But let's go over to Maximo and take a look at this right now and how we actually set this up. Okay, here I am in Maximo. I'm signed in as my administrator and starting us off in the user application. I've brought up this individual user that I'm going to use for the demonstration, and what's really important again is they have a default insert site. So what this means is the data that we're creating for this Maximo Mobile database is going to go on this insert site. If I have multiple sites in my organization, I'm going to have to set up multiple users that have different insert sites with different person groups, and then they would be individual cron task instances. Now that we have that set up, the next thing I want to go to is my person group. So I've created a person group for mobile, and you can see I've brought it up here. And what's important to note is I'm using that same user. They are the group default, and I have them for my user site. But now I'm going to add other users. These other users are ones that are going to have Maximo Mobile and that have that same site that will be populated or take the data for that site and populate it on their device. I can have as many users as I need in this person group. But again, this is what is going to trigger that cron task to populate or create that database. So to show you that, let me go over there. Cron task instance. It's if I just searched on Maximo Mobile, that's going to bring it up. Here it is right here, Maximo Mobile database. Let me open this up so you can see what's going on. A couple of things is if I expand my cron task instance, I can see this is the Maximo Mobile database generation. This is my schedule. Right now, this is very frequent. This is not realistic in a production atmosphere. I did this just for a demo. So if you basically can think if you're adding new users, onboarding a great number of them, maybe you want to have this database run once a day. Have this cron task run once a day. But as it matures and you're not adding new users, you probably want to bring that down maybe once a week, once a month, whatever it might be. And a user can always go up and resynchronize their data at any time. This is the other thing that's so important, right? Run as user. This is the user that we started with, and we want to make sure that that's enabled for our cron task. If I had selected another user, it won't work. It's got to be tied to that person group. The other 2 things that are very important are down here. What is the page size? This is the number of records I'm creating at a time. So in this case, it's 2,000. That's the default. That seems pretty good. I am working with a production database or a pretty large size database, so that seemed to be pretty good for me. And then the thread count is if you have a very large or high performing environment, you can increase this. I couldn't find any exact default information as to what defines a very large enterprise, environment. So I just stayed with the default and it worked pretty fine. The other thing you want to do is look at your history. Make sure is that as this is being populated, you want to make sure that you not only see the actions but the start and the stop. Until you see the stop, that in my understanding, that database isn't created. So if you try to log in initially, it's not going to pick it up. So again, this is the three important parts of creating the Maximo Mobile database: the user, the person group, and the cron task setup. Now I'm going to go back and show you how you can find out more details on this database. In the second part of this video, let's take a look at what is actually in this preloaded database. I found this great tech note that I have down here on the bottom. I want to highlight that for reference because it helped me significantly as I work to put the pieces of this together. So basically, if you want to find out what's inside that preloaded database, or maybe you had problems and the database didn't generate properly, it's important to use these really great log features that are available now with Maximo Mobile. So how do you do that? Well, once your mobile app is installed, so once your mobile app is installed, go to Help and Support from the Navigator menu, access the log data, and then right over here on the top right-hand side, again, never know what to do, look for the blue button. You click on that, and it gives you the ability to email or text the log files. I actually emailed them. I opened them up in Notepad, and then you can search for the mobile DB ID. Once you do that, you typically get a URL, a long URL, and in this case, my mobile ID was 46. And I take this URL, I open it up in a browser, and it creates a mobile zip file. Once I have that mobile zip file, this is a copy of the database that's downloaded to the device. I can then extract that zip file and open it up in a SQLite version to see what it looks like. And let me go over there right now and show you that to you. So after I extracted that zip file with my Maximo Mobile database and I open it up in SQLite, you can see that I can look now to see all the information that is brought in. There's 31 different tables. I can come over here and I can look at all of the data that's brought in. But basically, you can see that it's creating this JSON file format that is bringing that content over to my mobile database. So again, the purpose of creating this preloaded database for Maximo Mobile is to improve the user experience, especially when that user is onboarding the first time. So thank you very much for your time.